Hello guys, my name is Rox, welcome back to the channel. Since you clicked on this video, you are facing one of the most common problems every single photographer has to deal with when you start your photography journey, which is cleaning your sensor.
I can do this. How hard can this be?
I still remember the first time I did it myself. I was freaking out, I was super nervous, my hands was shaking, so I know the feeling.
Have you ever watched pornographic videos? Relax, the needles are jumping.
But don't worry, we're gonna cover the whole process step by step. It's gonna be super easy. As long as you don't do any crazy stuff like blowing on your sensor or touching your sensor with your fingers, any other object, or putting liquid, don't do that and you're gonna be super fine. So stop waffling and let's cut to the chase. The first part is to clean the outside of your camera. So the body, the lens cap and the lenses obviously. So every single part that can bring dust into your sensor. Personally, I do that like every time I go out to shoot. It's something that relaxes me, so it's a routine that I always do. Before doing anything, it's worth mentioning that we are not touching the sensor directly. What I mean by that is that in front of the sensor we have a layer, a glass layer, and this is the one that we are cleaning. But yet, it's still delicate, so be careful on what you do. Then, another important consideration, if your camera has IBIS, so in-body image stabilization, before doing anything, you need to activate a functionality, a mode, which is sensor cleaning mode. This is really important. If you have a look at your sensor when your camera is off, the sensor looks slightly offset and wobbly. This happens because IBIS works by suspending your sensor on electromagnets or springs. In this way, it allows you to move to compensate your movement. When you activate the sensor cleaning mode, your sensors stay in place. So check for your model in your camera, which one is the functionality, and set it to like enable. So leave your camera on, set the functionality and then start cleaning. As you can see, my S7R5 has some dust on the sensor, but it should be really easy to remove using an air blower while letting the gravity do the work. Now, most of the time is enough to clean with the air blower, but sometimes the sensor is still dirty. In this case, you need to use a swab and the sensor cleaning liquid. The size of the swab depends on your sensor, full frame, APS-C, whatever. I'll leave some links in the description for the ones I use. Take one swab and add a single drop of cleaning liquid on both sides. Then, gently but firmly, wipe the sensor once per side. If you notice some moisture left on the sensor, maybe from too much liquid, take a fresh swab and dry it with 2 passes, one per side. And that's it. Now your sensor should be clean and ready to go. If spots are still visible, then try doing the process again. But if you see that your sensor is still dirty, take the camera to a professional cleaning service and they're gonna take care of it. Now, a couple of tips. Some camera like the A7R5, they have what is called a sensor protector mechanism. If you switch them on, the sensor is protected. It sounds like a great idea, right? But actually it's not. And the reason is because your shutter is one of the most delicate part of your camera. So if you damage the shutter, which is pretty easy to do, you're gonna spend a lot of money to fix it. It's much easier to clean your sensor. A second tip is when you change the lens on the field, and by the way, don't be afraid or scared to change lens, try to put yourself between the sensor and the elements. What I mean, for example, if there is wind blowing from that side, put yourself between the wind and the sensor, so protect the sensor. And at the same time, when you change the lens, face the sensor like towards the ground, right? Don't leave the sensor like this in a way that the dust is falling on it. Just rotate the camera. If your sensor is dirty, you're gonna notice some spot on image if you shoot at aperture which are f16, f22. So keep your sensor clean. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up. Hope it helps and have a great day. See ya!